I opened escrow to sell my grandma's bungalow. The title officer asked, "Why'd you take out a $180,000 HELOC last year?" I said, "I didn't." My husband said, "I panicked." He forged my signature and used a fake notary. I'm 31F. He's 34M. We live in San Diego, North Park, little craftsman, squeaky floors, bougainvillea that attacks the mail carrier. I do comms for a nonprofit. He's a journeyman electrician who can coax life out of bad breakers and talks about wire like it's poetry. My grandma left me her Ocean Beach bungalow when she passed. 2 bedrooms, salt in the walls, a lemon tree that made renters think they were farmers. I wasn't ready to live out there. The plan was rent, fix what needed fixing, sell in a few years, buy something that didn't require 3 space heaters in January. Last fall, a realtor friend said the market was good, my job was stable, and if I wanted out of landlord land, this was a sweet window. We listed. Offer in a week, high fives. I called my mom. She cried. We made a plan about the lemon tree like idiots. Small local sentence, we celebrated with carne asada fries from Lucha Libre and ate them there because if you take them home, they get sad. We opened escrow. Title did their thing. On day 3, the officer, a woman with glasses on a chain and the patience of a saint, called and said, "Hey, quick question. Can you send me the reconveyance for the HELOC you took out last September? We can't clear it without payoff or proof it's been closed." HELOC? I said. What lock? The home equity line of credit, she said. Deed of trust recorded September 19th, $180,000, lender City Coastal Credit Union. My stomach went cold. "Send me a PDF," I said. She did. It was my name, my address. It had a photocopy of my driver's license attached, except the photo wasn't me. It was my face, but wrong, like someone fed me into a bad printer. The signature was mine the way a 3rd grader draws the Eiffel Tower, approximate, earnest, insultingly off. The notary's seal was crisp. I Googled the name. No such notary in the state database. My hands shook. I called my husband, Nate. "Hey," I said, trying for breezy. "Weird question. Did you take out a HELOC on OB?" Still silence. Then a soft, "Where are you?" I sat down on the floor. At home. "I'm at a site in Santee," he said. "Can I call you back in 20? "I'll wait," I said. He called back in 5. "I was going to tell you," he said, which is the line everyone thinks is their first best thing. "What did you do?" "I didn't withhold enough on the side jobs. We were fine when we were getting the reduced rent from your cousin. Then the Tacoma needed a transmission. Then my mom had that fall and I covered her rent because she was waiting on disability. I got a HELOC just to smooth us." "In my name," I said. "In the house's name," he said, like the grammar would save him. "We're married." "Notaries are a thing," I said. "Consent is a thing." "I didn't want to freak you out," he said. "You were already stressed with the campaign launch." I knew the sale would happen eventually. I figured I'd roll it into the payoff. The rate was trash, I know, but it was temporary. "Who notarized?" I asked. "A guy from work knows a girl," he said. It was legit. "The bank funded it, babe. They don't fund if it's fake." I hung up before I threw my phone. I called Mom. "You sitting down?" "I'm always sitting," she said, not unkind. "That's how 64 works." "Nate took out a HELOC on Grandma's," I said. "In my name. Fake notarized." My mother did a noise that sounded like she stubbed her soul. I called the title officer back. "That's not me," I said. "Freeze escrow. Do not let any funds move anywhere I don't tell you." She said okay with the weary kindness of a person who has emailed a stranger at 9 p.m. on a Friday about a lien before. I called the credit union. "Fraud," I said. They transferred me 4 times. So the last woman said, "Can you come in?" Bring Ed. I went, sat in a plastic chair under a poster about CD specials, and explained to a man in a tie that my husband used my face to borrow money. He printed the application. Attached a copy of my driver's license. She had my number right, the photo wrong, my pay stub. Someone used a real template and a bad font, a deed of trust with my signature notarized. He highlighted parts like it made it less insane. This is a crime, I said. I have to open a case, he said. Freeze the HELOC. You'll need to file a police report. And you're married? I filed a police report in a precinct with a vending machine that only took quarters and attitudes. The officer was decent. He took my statement, photocopied the fake notary seal, shook his head. We'll send it to the DA, he said. It'll take time. In the meantime, don't sell the property. Or sell it and escrow the amount so the bank doesn't cry. He said it like he knew exactly how titled and untitled things could get. I went home. Nate was on the couch, elbows on his knees, good man face on like he wanted to be the guy I married. It was a mistake, he said. A fix that made a mess. You forged my signature, I said. You found a fake notary. You put my grandma's house, my house, on the line to cover your mess and didn't tell me. My mess, he repeated. Our mess. Our life. He looked up. I was going to fix it. You are not the fixer, I said. You are the breaker. He flinched. I'll call the bank. I'll make it right. You'll talk to Linda, I said. The title officer. My friend's attorney. You will not call anyone without me on the phone. He nodded like a kid told he can still go to the party if he shuts up. He slept in the guest room. I lay on our bed and stared at the ceiling and thought about my grandma's hands and how she would never write her G like he tried to write mine. Updates update 1. 4 days later, the fake notary wasn't even good at being fake. My friend who does real estate said, every notary has a journal. If she's real, she logs your thumbprint in California. Here in CA, yes. But we're in San Diego, yes. California? Demand to see it. We asked City Coastal for the notary's journal entry. They asked their closing agent, which was an online document service sketch, but it coughed up a PDF with a scanned journal page. The notary's commission number didn't match the seal. The thumbprint was a circle drawn in pen. I took it to the Secretary of State's Notary Division. The clerk laughed without humor and said, "This is what they bring me before lunch." She flagged the commission. It didn't exist. We gave that to SDPD. The detective in economic crimes perked up like I'd brought him an espresso. Fake notary is a felony, he said. Also, your husband is not smart. Nate's guy from work turned out to be a coworker who knew a girl who could notarize without making it a headache. The girl was his girlfriend with a $40 Etsy stamp. The detective took her, the coworker, and Nate's phones. He took my statement again and didn't make me feel crazy for knowing my own signature. I locked down everything. New passwords. Fraud alert on my credit. I pulled every report and put them in a folder called Sinking Ship. City Coastal froze the HELOC. Because it was a HELOC, no money had to be paid back immediately if it was fraud. The bank has E&O insurance and a fraudulent lien process. Title said we could either 1, pause sale until the lien was removed months, or 2, proceed with sale and escrow the suspicious HELOC amount pending removal. We picked option 2. I did not want to hold my breath until Halloween. Small local sentence, I sat on Sunset Cliffs and watched kids jump off rocks and wondered how any of us survives our 20s. Update 2, 2 weeks later, money. Of the $180,000 line, $92,000 had been drawn. Where did it go? I printed bank statements with a highlighter like a high schooler. $18,400 to IRS, $18,400 to Pacific Transmissions, $600 to Mission Valley rent, his mom's apartment, $13,000 in cash withdrawals and chunks of $1,000 at random ATMs because hubris is boring. $12,000 wired to Palisade Trading, which is either an investment or a gamble or both. $38,000 into our joint checking over 3 months, then out to bills I recognized, SDG&E, our mortgage, my student loans. He plugged holes and called that us. $800 at Guitar Center, why? $1,400 at an electronics store in Kearney Mesa, also why. He was paying life with a money dial. He cried when I showed him the guitar line. I was going to learn again, he said, pathetic and real. It was dumb. I set up a meeting with an attorney who does financial crimes. He said, "You're doing it right. Keep the paper. Your goal is title-free and clear, no personal liability, bank insurance on the hook. Your marriage is a second file." He wanted to stay. I wasn't living with a man who put my grandma's house on a spreadsheet like a solution. His mother called and said he did it for you in that tone mothers get when their sons give a homeless man a nickel and they confuse that with consent. I told her he did it to you too. Who paid your rent? She went quiet. She brought me enchiladas the next day, which is the apology language for 50-something Latinas who love you and their sons in complicated orders. Update 3, 1 month later, we closed. Title escrowed $92,000 plus $10,000 cushion into a blocked account with both of our signatures required for disbursement. The buyer's agent tried to make small talk about seawalls. I signed names that are mine. I cried in the parking lot afterward. City Coastal completed their internal investigation. They sent a letter. We deem this a fraudulent line of credit. We are initiating a reconveyance of the deed of trust. Their E&O insurer called and asked if we'd sign a general release for $5,000 for our trouble. Gwen, new lawyer, my first had enough on plate, laughed in their ear and said, "We don't sign releases for crimes. We'll sign a limited one when the reconveyance records and my client's credit is clean." The reconveyance recorded 3 weeks later. Title released the escrowed funds to me because the lien on the property no longer existed. City Coastal's insurer fought us on the difference. They tried to argue we owed them for the benefit we got from bills paid with stolen money, then went away when Gwen sent them case law that made them look like Scrooge in July. The DA charged Nate, co-worker, and the girlfriend, Notary, with felony counts, forgery, filing a false instrument, and conspiracy. They offered Nate a plea, reduced to a misdemeanor with probation and restitution if he cooperated and paid back the bank portions that could be argued for his benefit, the IRS, the truck, the guitar, the electronics, which we sold on offer up to cover our sins. He took it because he's not completely stupid. It filed for legal separation. In California, you can do that and then decide when your brain isn't soup if you want divorce. My mom came with me to the family court clerk and handed me tissues like a baton. Small local sentence. On my way back from the courthouse, I stopped at OB for a Hodad's burger and sat in the car with salt air and cried into a napkin that disintegrated immediately. Update 4, 3 months later. People want to help. People give terrible advice. Forgive him. He did it for you. He had no choice. Men. I made a list of what I wanted that did not include opinions. Title clean. Credit clean. My name with me. My grandma's ghost off my back. And my house sold on my terms. A chair where I drink coffee and my shoulders come down. We moved the Camaro. No, sorry, that was a different story. Moved the little things from OB into storage. The lemon squeezer that makes lousy lemonade but is hers. The crochet blanket with cigarette burns. The cracked bowls. The buyers sent me a picture of their kid under the lemon tree the next week. I printed it and put it on my fridge like my mom does with grandkids. It felt less like losing. Nate asked for counseling. I went once. The therapist asked would he tell his daughter if she brought home a man who did what he did. Don't, he said immediately. Leave. He looked at me like he'd told on himself. He started paying me back for the chunk of the HELOC used on things that benefited our joint life per a settlement Gwen wrote that kept lawyers from circling. It's $400 a month and will take years. That feels poetic and horrible. Update 5. 6 months later, the notary girlfriend took a deal too. 5 years probation, community service, banned from ever applying for a commission, fine. The coworker got a misdemeanor and a job at a different company because this city takes care of its men. I started going to a women's car night at a shop in Barrio Logan, not because I have a Camaro, but because I needed to put my hands on something that doesn't lie. We changed oil and watched each other sign our names on the waivers like we were practicing spells. I told them the Helix story once and never had to again. They asked about my mom instead. They asked about the lemon tree. Small local sentence. I watched the sunset at Sunset Cliffs with a LaCroix like a suburban dad, and a woman next to me cried into her sleeve, and we didn't ask why. We just sat. Update 6. 9 months later. I had a day where I missed him so much I thought my ribs would splinter. Memory is a liar. It tells you about breakfasts and not about bank lobbies. I texted him that I missed the version of us who ate fries in the car and planned to paint the little bedroom yellow. He texted back, I miss who I thought I was. That hurt because it was true. We finalized the separation agreement. He gets the Tacoma, minus the new transmission price. Ha! I get the dog, obviously, the furniture I brought into the marriage, and the plants because he cannot keep succulents alive in San Diego, which should be in a DSM. The OB sale proceeds are mine. There's a clause that says he can't open any credit in my name ever under penalty of Gwyneth Paltrow's ski trial energy. I moved into a small one-bedroom in University Heights with morning light and a neighbor who plays Coltrane on Sundays like a ritual. I put Grandma's lemon squeezer on my counter and my own name on the lease and the title and the mailbox. I paid off my student loan with the OB proceeds and paid off my mom's car because I could. I put the rest away and didn't tell Instagram. Update 7. 1 year later, people asked if I could ever trust again. The answer is complicated. Men are not banks. I'm not alone. I am a person who asks to see documents now when anyone says, I'll handle it. I put my name on everything that is mine. I taught my friend how to read a deed of trust like a bedtime story. Nate texted me a picture of a rental in City Heights. He's moving out of his brother's. He has a couch someone left in an alley and a desire to be a man no one has to forgive. He sends his payment every month and a note for your name. Sometimes he includes a picture of the dog because he misses him, and I let him have that. He hasn't asked for me back. I think he knows I'm not a thing you get back. The title officer who caught it sent me a Christmas card. That felt like a small woman-to-woman oath. I see you. Stay watchful. Keep your pen sharp. A small USA local sentence. I stood on the pier in Pacific Beach eating a churro and watched a pelican sit like a judgmental grandpa for 10 minutes. I did not have a story, just sugar and wind. Update 8. 15 months later, dating. I went on 2.5 dates. Date 1 talked about crypto in a way that made my palms sweat for all the wrong reasons. Date 2 said, you're intense, which is true. The half date was me sitting at a sushi bar and deciding to leave before he arrived because his texts felt like he'd ask for $20 in the parking lot. Then I met someone at the Women's Wrench Nights adjacent coffee shop, a photographer who knows how to bill and not get bulldozed, who says we can look that up when he doesn't know something instead of making up an answer in my direction. He met my dog. The dog approved, which is meaningless and also everything. He does not make my story worth anything from the bank. He is just a person who brings croissants and asks about my mom and says, you got the title back. Good. Update 9, 18 months later, if you are reading this because you opened Escrow and a stranger told you about a line of credit you never took, I am sorry. Here is the short version of what helps. Pull the deed. Look, if the signature isn't yours, it isn't yours. Fake notaries look good on PDFs until someone asks for their commission number. File a police report. Not because you want your husband in cuffs, maybe you do, that's between you and your therapist, but because paper beats vibes when title needs to clear a lien. Call the lender. Ask for their fraud department, not customer service. Use the words forgery and identity theft. Ask for their E&O insurer's info if they get cute. Talk to title. Good ones will help you escrow the amount while they push reconveyance or delay closing until it clears. Freeze your credit. Put fraud alerts on everything. I know, it feels like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. Do it anyway. Separate your brain file called marriage from the one called ownership. The court will. Women know things. Ask your realtor friend. Ask the secretary in the notary division. Ask the title officer with glasses on a chain. Record things you want to keep. Record your name. Record your voice saying no. My grandma's lemon tree is someone else's now. My dog is asleep under my feet. My coffee is good. My pen works. My shoulders come down twice a day, once in the morning light, once in the evening when I lock a door with my name on it. Small San Diego sentence. I drove down 30th to South Park for a latte, windows down, jacaranda pedals everywhere, and for one long stoplight I didn't think about loan numbers or seals, I just watched a kid on a scooter race, a bus, and win. Final tiny note, people always ask why women don't leave when something like this happens. We do, but first we read. We call, we file, we sign, we sit in plastic chairs under posters about CD rates and use words men hate hearing from our mouths. And then we leave. Or we don't. Or we leave and then stay somewhere else that looks like ourselves. Either way, I got the title back. Either way, I put my name on it. That's the part that makes the coffee taste fine.